Hey everybody, I'm Mike Venus and I'm back. And before we start, check out cosnoverfears.org. I'll leave it in the comments and the description as well. We got hats, apparel, bomber jackets, all the stuff, accessories you would need to look fly and be your best, to be a star in your world and be unapologetic. So shop at cosnoverfears.org. This is also where my loops be at Mike Venus Jazz Keys um, series. A new volume is released daily, so check it out and support the movement, right? So, I was watching a video about the 80-20 principle, and this got me thinking, okay, my whole goal as an individual is to be the most productive and to do it with the most efficiency that is like almost like a samurai. How they practice their strikes, right? So that when they go to cut, is they know they're gonna do damage and where to cut. And it's the same way when it comes to music. So I'll give an example of what I do um, with the 80-20 principle. Now, and how you can apply it to your music production. Really anything, but we talking about music production. Right. The way it works is 20% of your input or what you do will affect 80% of the result, right? This is where the term, the end justify the means. So if your end goal, let's say, to make a beat, right? One way that you could apply the 80-20 process to it is that you know that if you're going to use, um, you're going to make a particular genre, make a template in that particular genre. If you know that the BPM is going to be set, or you like a certain BPM that you like to make music in that genre, make a template, save it with that. If you know you're going to use X amount of sounds, make you a drum kit 16, or in the case with the 464, however many sounds you want to use for that particular genre, and save it save your drum racks, save your if you know it's certain bass that you go to it all the time, put that as a track, save it. Key drum sounds that you're gonna go to or that's standard in that particular genre, save it, put it in on this template. So when you open it up, all you gotta do is jump to it. If you know the chord progressions that are typically used in that particular genre, or it's a certain key that you like, make a MIDI track, save the MIDI, save that MIDI track. So you could just pull it up, and if there's certain sounds that you like. Now I know on the MPC and on the Force, you're limited to 8 plugins. My suggestion to anybody is to create key groups. And I'll go into that and the reason why in another video. But have all your particular tracks, right, set up and then save it, whatever. Or save it in a folder. So even if you open an empty project, you can go straight to that folder and start loading up your stuff, right? Another key step that helped me, I use this when it comes to making the demo tracks for my loop packs. I have already picked the drum sounds I'm going to use. I got this idea or this suggestion to apply this to my workflow was watching an interview Zaytoven, and he says that his drum sounds, he still used the same drum kit, the same drum sounds that he had when he had first started making beats. Way back in like what was that, like the 90s when he was in high school. Whenever he tells his story. And so he already knows, okay, this is my kick, this is my clap, my snare, my hats, whatever, etc. Percussion. He has it saved in a drum track. He pulls it up. He knows where it's at. It's so he can get into that flow state. Um, he doesn't do much sound design. He usually use a lot of presets, but it's the same concept. You could do that too. In the Force, if you got a plug in and you make your adjustments and you like that sound, you can save that particular settings as a preset and put it in a folder. So you can just pull it up. You know, if you want to spend a day just sound design, pull it up. This all makes it extremely effective so that when you get into this, into making music, you're not all up in here, you're just flowing. This is where it seems like these guys just pump shit out effortlessly. They're applying, knowingly or unknowingly, they're applying the 80-20 principle to their workflow. And I'm telling you, it works. So yeah, recap. To speed up your workflow, if you're a beginner or you can use anybody, any level that you're doing this. If your goal is to make a beat or make a song, and you know the genre that you're going to be working in, have your stuff saved either as a template, save your presets in a particular folder, save your sounds or your drum rack in a particular folder or in the template. Any effects that you put on your particular programs or in the sub mixes or buses or on the master, save it. Make the drum rack or make those effect racks and save them, label them. It's clockwork. It's so easy. I went from probably spending maybe about 30 minutes making, doing the same patterns to now cutting it down to almost 15 minutes when making the demo tracks. Literally. It's super quick. In 30 minutes now I'm able to make 2 demo tracks. When I do my loop packs, same thing. I already know I'm going to set it to a certain tempo, right? I already know that I'm going to use eight tracks or the 8 plugins, and I'm going to do 5 clips of each track, so that equals up to 40 loops for my loop pack. I allow the machine to pick the colors, which in the Force, every color is set to a particular scale. You know what I'm saying? So once you figure that out, clockwork. It's clockwork. I already know, okay, I'm going to use 5 sounds from the electric plugin. I'm going to use 3 sounds from the hype to make my loop packs. I, knock it out. And I got it down from when I first started, where I was doing all this thinking and trying to, do too much. Now I just simplify it so that once I start recording, simplify it. I just knock out my progressions, move on to the next clip. Once I'm done with those 5, move to the next track. And I'm able to knock out 2 loop packs. That's 40 loops per pack. So that's 80 loops. I can do 80 loops in less than an hour. That's including load time and saving it to create the folders. That's what I'm talking about. Now, what would have took me probably an hour to do or 40 minutes is now taking me less than that. Now that frees up more time. Once I knock them out, I'm in the flow, I knock it out, I could move on to something else. Now I can spend that time studying. You know what I'm saying? when I'm taking a break, letting the machine cool, right? So I'm still working, but I'm working efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm making beats or I'm making a song, and I haven't done this yet, but I'm planning on doing it, it's basically make a track, just a MIDI track, with all the chord progressions that are typically used in that particular um, genre, right? So all I gotta do is just send that MIDI to a plugin to get my sounds. Or I can create a key group from the plugin and then just pick the MIDI that I like, copy it to that particular key group or plugin, and now I got my chord progression. You know what I'm saying? If I know my bass line, the simplest way to make a bass line that fit, use the root note of the chord progression that you use it, or the lowest note in the chord. It's simple. Drop it down another octave. You're done. That's your harmony, that's your bass. You want to make a melody, keep it simple. Use the notes that's in the chords that you're using. Just pick a note, make a quick pattern. It doesn't have to be, you know, all this counter melody. That I think that's just some extra shit. It doesn't profit anybody who doesn't know any music theory, because you're more liable to create dissonance or tension, unnecessary tension, when making your music. Just use the notes that's in your chord to make your melody. Make your melody simple. You know what I'm saying? And then make you a loop or whatever. Know what kind of sections you're gonna do. Knock it out. You know, drum patterns is simple. You know what I'm saying? Either you're gonna do the 4 to the floor kick with the snare or clap on the 2 and the 4, or you're gonna do it halftime, where you got the kick or the snare or the clap on the third beat, right? The kick on the 1, the second, the and in the second beat, and the and on the third. That's how most people do the trap beat. If you're gonna use the same beat pattern, save the MIDI. All you gotta do now is just load up the sounds. It's really that simple. This is how these guys pump out beats. This is how they be productive, efficient. When you hear these guys in interviews talking about, oh, I do like 10 beats a day, or I'm up to doing 40 or 20 beats. A person asks me for a beat pack, I send them a 40 pack. How they able to do that? They save all their MIDI. They know their sounds they're going to go to. They either save the presets in a folder so they can just quickly reference that folder. That's using the 80-20 principle. You know what I'm saying? And you knock it out. So try it. And, you know, leave it in the comment section if you use anything that will help to speed up your workflow. I plan on doing videos in the near future going into different workflows that you can apply on the Force, or kind of giving visual aids of what I'm talking about in this video, and the same on the MPC, because I got both the MPC Live and the Force. And like I said, Lord willing, hopefully this year I will step up and get a DAW and work with the Push, because I know that's the workflow that I like to work, the clip launch. So, and that works well with my equipment. I don't have to have anything that's additional. So yeah, apply it, see how it works. And with that, like I said, go check out CosmoFierce.org. I'm Mike Venus, and I'm out.